Was I being abusive at the end of Destiny's thing? It fucking sucked. He's just sitting there like moping.
You realize
got
the
two
way
guests
that you're
on.
doing this, even the way that you're doing this makes it sound like you do not even understand what it is that I'm calling abuse.
If I'm this guy who's like a master manipulator and a master obfuscator, the wife of my children is like, how's this going? It's not going very well.
You've got the only other adult out of the house who thinks that you're the other adults out of the house who think you're abusive as well.
I was trying to not do it anymore. I was saying, you be her infant.
Don't do it anymore. You never should have done it in the first place. You're her dad. While he's like the dude who's very degrading to her, who's telling her to like take off her panties, telling her she's a dirty slut, telling her to lick her underwear. She's like crying, but he's sitting there still being degrading towards her while you are getting her to dance provocatively. She's taking off her clothes and changing into sexier clothes so that she can dance in front of him. You are sitting there encouraging this.
Don't do it anymore.
That is coercion.
Hey, don't do it.
You're not just encouraging her so that she has healthy relationships. You are encouraging her into positions that are going to be beneficial for you.
So what? It's a win-win. It's called a family, Tom.
This is insane, dude. And then you start like throwing out these very unhealthy dynamics.
Tom, let's get real for 1 minute here, okay? And you're gonna answer this question. I'm getting out of here because you're just full of shit. So now I have to defend myself against the accusation that I've sexually groomed my own daughter. And you think that that's a reasonable conversation to have?
If you're telling me that it didn't happen, and this is what I'm accusing you of, I would think it'd make sense if you did defend yourself in some way at some point. Yes, I think that would make sense.
Has anybody jumped on yet? Nobody's jumped on?
Yeah, I'm going to pull somebody in from the waiting room real quick.
There you go.
There's Ben Thorp.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going, man?
I never heard of you before. You seem like a great guy. I get banned from everywhere.
Paige Hyman that her mother put
I'd like to slap Grace.
Would you ever stop talking about my vagina on the internet?
I'd like to spit on Grace.
You're supposed to be a Catholic dad.
Vagina.
You're supposed to be a Catholic dad. Yeah,
chastity belt. That's 3
fucking little slut.
Okay. Enjoy ever getting another woman up here.
Yeah, and your little your little perky tits sticking out. And go tell them to bring them over here and use some bait then. What do you think? I'm the bait to bring them over?
Yeah. Fucking princess, get lost. Go shake your ass out on the streets of Vegas, of the internet.
That's right. I put her on Boulder Highway. I'd sell Grace's ass on Boulder Highway.
Yeah. Get out there on Boulder Highway.
She's she hasn't even worked up to the strip yet.
Now call her mother and get her on here. And get her to go, oh, Grace, you've got to stop this.
Oh, shut up, Courtney. Let's see. No, I'm talking. Let's see your self-worth, Grace, of your sexuality, reeling those simps over here. Let's see how good you are, baby. You talk about your self-worth.
Let's see you move around a little in that frame instead of acting like you're a humanly trafficked.
They ain't gonna be happy to see me.
Now, Uncle Max, I'm going to talk to you while this bitch gets us some customers.
Here we go. Bullet 1385. Just tell me where to go, Grace. I'll say hi to you for sure.
Does she have yoga pants on? You gotta get some fishnets.
That doesn't make any sense, Grace.
She's got to get fishnets.
Turn around. Turn around.
She's got a cute ass on her. She needs fishnets. She needs some fucking stripper shoes, some horseshoes.
Yeah. Well, the outfit doesn't make sense because it's like classy on top and like, you know.
See, now what's so wrong with that? I mean, it's a nice looking young woman's ass. I mean, it's a great thing.
Problem?
I would like Grace to sit on my fucking face for a few hours alone. Okay?
Let's get
I mean, what the hell? You have to have something wrong with you as a man not to say that.
Right. Even her father, as her father, I would say,
even Ben wants
what is the problem? I don't want that in that way, but I want men to want that. What is the problem?
Well, I'm telling you that. I mean...
What is the problem? That is what a young woman should be, attractive to young men.
I mean, I would show you, of course, it's YouTube. I mean, I'd show you the treatment Grace needs. It's kind of like the James Dean S type porn is what she needs in her life.
All right.
Well, those are just like stocking. Okay, well, I guess those are okay, but
what were you thinking of?
Nah, lingerie, fishnet lingerie.
Let's do a dance, Grace. Come on, let's get these numbers through the roof. There we go. A little bit of leather.
There we go. Let me see.
Yeah, a leather mini skirt would work. I happen to like those. You don't see them too
Grace, don't stand up while you're changing and let anyone see anything, okay? Because that's wrong, and it would be immoral for anyone to get an oopsie shot.
Yeah.
Right?
That would definitely be wrong.
There you go. She's getting it a little bit. A little bit. I think under.
That's another thing I used to like on women, but you don't see it too much often is leather mini skirts.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Well, I don't know. She's too much of a virgin for something like that.
I'm not
for
doing
Motorhead,
it.
maybe.
Get this fucking. Tell this guy to shut up. Right.
What's this? The crotch shot?
I'm choosing my song. Okay, fine. I'll do like this.
That's right. That's right. We know.
You do that fucking leather skirt. I don't care. I would do it in front of everybody too. I would not really care. I'm not the type that. At least I'm honest.
I mean, it's just a body. Am I wrong?
Well, I would follow her. I mean, behind her, I'd pull up her skirt, hike her skirt up.
It's a good idea. Joshua says, can we convince Hormaxer to have Grace and Ben to have a dance off and let the Coomers rate who dances best?
Do a nice little lap dance and get the tip
I
of a
would
lifetime.
completely have sex with Grace in front of the whole audience right now. I don't care about that. I've done it in person. I'm the real deal, Grace.
You're liberated.
Yes, thank God.
Hey, 34. We're up to 34.
Men want to watch good-looking women generally.
Is that wrong? Is there something wrong with that? Do we need to go to jail because we don't want to watch a bunch of fat losers complain on the internet about
no, that's
why they hate men?
Unappealing, where this is appealing.
Right.
I mean, I wish YouTube wasn't so restrictive, but it is. But
well, it's good for poor Princess Gracie over here.
Hold on.
That's okay. We don't need to see your head. Am I right? Full screener. Full screener. Uncle Max, put her on full screen.
How do I do that? Let me.
You see it right below the.
All right, hold on. I'll have to bring you back in here.
No.
I don't want to lick panties on YouTube. It's humiliating.
Lick panties on YouTube.
Why?
Because that's also views. Because you're a dirty bitch that wants to deny her sexuality like Coom Dumb Courtney.
I don't want to get views for embarrassing myself.
But you're a little fucking cock tease, and all cock teases deserve is first to get a little humiliated. It will be good for you.
But how am I supposed to not be a cock tease? I can't even go online. I'm a cock tease.
Shut your mouth. Get on your fucking knees and lick those panties.
I can. I'm kneeling. Okay.
Now lick those panties. Lick those panties, you dirty bitch.
Okay. Fucking humiliating.
Good. Good. Cry all you want.
Me.
Good. Cry all you want. You cry all you want. Doesn't matter. Now get up. Let me see your fucking lingerie. Let me see your lingerie. Let me see. Yeah. Turn around. Turn your ass fucking around. Turn your fucking ass around. Yeah. Fuck toy. What's the matter, Grace? Tired of the online little soft simps sucking up to you?
No, I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing on here.
Exactly what you're doing. You're doing it right.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, you like cock, don't you? Say, I like fucking cock.
Hollywood Ben Thorp. My ex Hollywood Ben Thorp. It's just like, it's coming. Ow! Fucking bitch. Get up. My screen.
Okay. That was
I think I'm the most sexually normal guy in the world. I was told, I have someone who goes to my chat who's a 16-year-old girl, and I was told like it's really, really a problem. I was like, what would be the problem? I chat with her. I would meet her in person. I would tell a 6-year-old girl that her dress looked pretty.
And you can't get an apartment when you're 18, just like that. And I have a 2-year lease, or somebody has a 2-year lease. You lied about the papers because you're crazy, as if that's
amazing how anyone could sympathize with this level of disrespect. Bro, Ben, your brain is broken, dude. I'm sorry. Your brain is actually broken. I don't know what happened to you. I cannot say what happened to you, but your brain is broken. You do not engage like a normal human. You are not like the rest of us, okay? And I believe that you actually just don't get it. I believe you. I don't think that you're lying. I don't think that you're making it up. I think that you truly do not get it. I have trouble believing that you would be capable of acting like this or feel comfortable with anybody ever seeing videos of this if you actually understood what was happening here, or how you're acting, or how you come off to anybody, anywhere, ever.
That's helpful. Maybe you should just tell me what you wrote on those lease papers instead of lying to me and then making me pay half the rent every month. You withhold my renting information. I have no idea what situation I'm in. And then whenever you feel like it, you can blow up my phone and ask me to come down there whenever you feel like it, and like threaten my living situation that I hate, threaten everything, ruin my life.
John,
whenever you feel like it.
John, you have
You're
5.
Crazy.
John, you have
Apparently,
5. You now have 5 cats up there.
Then you know why I have 5 cats? Because you invited every piece of your family to come over, and my cat escaped because everybody leaves the fucking door open. I didn't get my cat pregnant. You did. Through the rest of your goddamn family.
So, I think everything was fine when the baby.
Yeah, you said the first one that reaches that age, but you also said earlier that she was being abused since she was 8 or 9 years old. You noticed when she was around 15, 16. Yeah. So surely if you start to notice this, you must think that the other kids could be being abused as well. So I'm trying to figure out, why would you just go through Grace's phone and not any of the other children's phones? Had you ever gone through her phone before, or was that the first time?
I mean, not really. Not that I know of, or what. I don't know.
This is the first thing I have on my notes.
How did you get into her phone? Usually people tend to have like passwords or locks on their phone. How did you get into it?
Yeah. I don't remember. I didn't know anything about it. So like I think I went, I looked.
You didn't know anything about what?
And just to see what was up, And so she caught me doing that. And I said to her, I'm sorry for that, but why not my son? I mean, he was a couple years younger. He was still in freshman. I wasn't kidding.
Yeah, I guess, but earlier you said that when he asked to go through your phone to look for contacts, you kind of knew that he was like digging through stuff, but you like gave him the passwords and let him in and everything anyway, no?
Yeah, because I was like, well, he's my dad. He can, he pays for this phone if he wants to look through it. Like, I can't, our relationship was kind of tense. So I was like, well, you can look, whatever. It's his right.
Okay.
But I didn't love it.
Certainly his right, but I
Instagram pictures.
Do what?
Destiny, please ask if he remembers the Instagram pictures she's talking about.
I remember
Look,
them.
we can't beat around the bush. Go ahead, go ahead, say it. I mean, why don't you just say it? The answer is no. The answer is no. Okay, Steven?
I was just curious.
You can ask her what you want, but it's a little undignified. I'm a grown man talking with you. I'm 51 years old. I have 6 kids. You could just ask the question, but
Oh, I'm not asking the question.
We've
I'm
heard
more.
it a million times.
Yeah, I was just more interested in.
Jesus Christ.
I was just more interested.
Dignity as a person, right?
It was just interesting to me.
I'm not on the stand here, right?
True. It was just interesting to me that a teenage girl didn't seem to have any problems that her dad, that she had a strained and tense relationship with, was going through her phone. That seems kind of weird. Like, I feel like a teenage girl would be pretty irritated by that.
No, I complained to my friend. It's just we didn't talk much, so I was like, well, I guess it's his right. And
we didn't have a close relationship. That's true. So I didn't really know her, and I was concerned about her, and I was like, you know, what's going on? And right, yeah, there were things on there that were indicators to me of something unhealthy. So I pursued it, and then I was like, actually, this is just fine. All this is totally normal.
Sure. So you just communicated to her that you just were trying to figure out what was going on or what was she up to, I guess, when you were asking for phone.
Yeah, I totally confessed or whatever. But see, when you say that, you're portraying me as. Did I look at her diary sometimes when she was away to see if she was okay? Yes. Should I do that? I think if you're concerned about someone, you will do that.
Earlier, when I was asking,
Steven, can you crack a smile? Jesus Christ.
Steven, I'm not in the fucking therapist room, and you're not my fucking therapist.
Well, what are we doing here? I
Sorry.
thought I'm just asking questions. That's what we're doing,
Well,
right?
don't alpha me.
I'm not alphaing anyone. I'm literally.
You're a big streamer. Or whatever,
this is the most beta I've ever been.
This is the control stuff. This is the control stuff. He feels like he's losing the power. He's gotta get the alpha male vibe back.
My daughter, you can ask that. Go ahead and ask it, but don't dance around it.
Well, I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out what the
Yeah,
dynamic
you are.
is.
You're dancing around it.
I'm not dancing around anything.
Yes, you are. How did you feel, Grace? When it just seems like it's a little.
Well, feelings are important, right?
I know when someone's doing something, so you know, just be a man. Just be a man. Ask me a question straight up.
What are you guys hoping to get out of a conversation with me?
Tons of views and subscriptions on YouTube.
True.
We're here to use you. No. Steven, can I tell you a little bit about what I want to do in the world?
Go for it.
I want to create, and I want you to help me create, a new category. It's the new big thing. It's called the centrist edgelord. Because our culture has split, not irreparably, into right and left, and these two groups don't talk to each other. And the center
sense of reason should rule.
Reasonable the entire time. It sounded like she was saddled with a restaurant that she didn't want to run, that she was basically being forced to take care of on her own because he described himself as smoking outside and Grace is taking care of the children, and the Ethiopians is not being able to manage the restaurant. Therefore, the mom is like really stressed the entire time. So how is she just crazy? It feels like she was being totally reasonable, actually, which is really bad because it's his side of the story. So he should be making her look even more crazy than she actually is. So the fact that she comes out looking pretty justified, I think, in her feelings on his version of the events means that things were probably even more wacky.
Tom, please let me on. For the love of God, I just went on Destiny. It was the craziest. Okay, fine. Come on. Yo.
Tom.
What's up, man?
You got to help me work through this.
I think you're on the wrong mic.
Oh, this one. Is this plugged in?
Yeah, the entire time you were talking to Destiny, you were on the wrong mic.
La 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 la. This is not a good mic?
No, it's not. It's fine. You need to go. So on your screen, where the mic button is.
The mic button.
Yeah. So you see the picture of the mic?
Yeah.
Okay, there's an arrow down. Click that, and then go to your input device.
Yeah, you had it built-in, Grace.
Oh.
So which one?
Audio device.
Which one?
Audio USB. It doesn't matter either one.
Oh.
So she fucked me over on my biggest. Now is it? Now is it right?
Yeah, that's good. It's your big day.
My big day, and I got screwed over, and so I was on the Mac mic.
So, how do you think it went?
Awful. It went terribly.
Why did it go terribly?
He was, well, first he started, I think he got himself into a corner because he wanted to work at these, you know, incest allegations, but he's a polite person. So like, it just became awkward. And then I was like, listen, son, you got a question to ask me straight up, but don't sit here and humiliate me by asking me whether I went through my daughter's phone and asking, you know, he's not a fucking therapist. He doesn't know how to do this. So I called him out on it, and then he just got super low energy and acted like he was bored. I tried to liven it up a few times, and come at him. But in the end, I just said, this fucking sucks. I know I'm supposed to, kiss your ass, but did you watch it at all?
Yeah, I watched it.
Didn't you feel like he was just incredibly low energy? Like, what the hell? You're the host of a program. Make it happen.
So I don't know how much he knows.
Well, he's been watching our content like maniacally
on the stream.
Yeah.
I mean, so I haven't been, as you know.
Yeah.
I just started looking into a lot of this stuff today.
Yeah.
Already the stuff that I see, I think this is worrisome. This is definitely terrifying.
Yeah, you think
stuff
like a
that I'm
woman.
looking.
You think like a woman. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with thinking like a woman.
Yeah,
If
it
you
does.
want, we can go over psychological data that categorizes the things that you're
God,
doing
studies.
as abusive. If
No,
you
no,
want
no,
to
no,
go
no,
through,
no.
you
no.
What do you
Not
mean
true.
no?
No.
Okay, earlier we were
said
talking about gaslighting.
You
Yes.
talk about gaslighting. Okay, gaslighting requires that you are presenting a false narrative, Tom. You know, this is the internet. I've heard internet legal
Yes, they
advice,
are all disagreeing
internet
with you.
psychological advice,
They are all
and you
telling
say
you that you're wrong.
projection.
Yes,
What?
they are all telling you that you're wrong. The people that you're talking to, Jonathan, Courtney, they are telling you that you are
Who's
incorrect
Jonathan?
in what it is.
Jonathan?
John, or is it not John?
Yeah, my son John. Yeah.
Yeah, John. Sorry, I thought it was Jonathan. Maybe I thought his name on there said Jonathan.
He
but yeah.
goes by Jerome.
Jerome.
For some reason. He has an alias, Jerome.
Okay. But yes, so there's like, obviously he disagrees with your way of viewing things. He's got a broken leg and he's literally saying that you guys are like using like food and stuff to hold it over his head.
Perfect. Can I give you this example? So
Sure.
This is the example. You heard him going on and on. You will admit he was not letting me talk.
Yes.
You cannot say that I was dominating the conversation, except
sure.
rhetorically. He was just going on and on and on and on. Okay, this is the situation. I did pull him out of this house where he was with his mother because I thought they had an unhealthy relationship. That doesn't imply anything about incest. I just thought, you got to get out of there, cut the apron strings, and get out into the world, because he was planning to do one of these endless sort of living with my parents things. You know what I mean? He wasn't getting motivated. So I pulled him out. It was unbelievably difficult. And I said, when you turn 18, you're on your own. I think that's a good thing for young men. But I'm a nice guy, so I set him up where he could have an apartment. It's hard for an 18-year-old to get an apartment and start on his own. I set him up with an apartment. I paid 2 years ahead I paid a year ahead on the lease, cash to the landlord, to get him this apartment. I gave him the apartment. It was a 2-bedroom. And I said, either find a roommate. You're going to have to find a roommate. For now, I'll pay half when it's empty. He was free to leave at any point. But I was like, I think it's good for you to get away from your mother, start on your own. Okay. So he has a leg injury, or an injury with his leg. It was elective, just like Steven Crowder's. But it was a major surgery. Okay, so he's up there by himself. Now, by that point, he didn't get a roommate, even though he'd started college. So I was like, okay, well, how about you two brothers live in the other room? And you guys can
The young
share.
brothers?
The older brothers, the 2 older brothers. Okay.
How old are they?
17 and 15. Because I think it was unhealthy here for them, too. So I asked them all, is that okay? Yep. Okay. So, all right, so I'll pay their half because they're minors, and he pays his half. But I'm paying the gas, the heat, all that stuff, right?
Sure.
And so it's a good deal, right, Tom?
Yeah, sure.
Right. And he went to, he was going to community college, supportive. We were supportive, but, he got a scholarship, all that stuff. So, okay. So, and I know there was a lot he had gone through, but I think his sympathies tended towards his mother. So he was like paranoid about me. I pretty much left him alone, encouraged him. He's a great artist. I was like, I set him up with a studio. I said, if you want to work in the studio, you want to help me with my YouTube career, you can do that. But if you don't, fine. He got a job at a local, supermarket. So then he gets injured, and he's holed up. And I said to him, you know what? Why don't you come stream with me? You're sitting there, right, rehabbing. He took a semester off or something, or it was winter term. And, he's on crutches. but he said he starts going crazy about how no one's feeding him, and I'm like, well, I said your sister can come up there, but it was like, no, you can't be up here, because there's all this hostility towards me and Grace, and I was like, well, you can make your own food. You saw him hobbling around. He certainly had enough energy to attack his sister physically, so it wasn't one of these like where he's got to cast from head to toe. Do you think it's an abusive thing to ask an 18-year-old to make his own food for himself in his own apartment?
Well, so it depends. Is he able to get up? You kept making it sound like people are willing to go give him food and bring it to him. And so it sounds like you guys are offering, but he's saying that the offer isn't a real offer, that you're not actually saying like, hey, we're going to help you out and just come bring you food, that you're saying, we're going to bring you food, but we're going to hold it over your head. We're going to keep it at like arm's length and make you reach for it. And
we played the victim. Yes. So, yes.
Wait, but
and his other brothers
you can't just say that. Is that
Yeah.
true? Is that true? Like, you can't just say he played the victim. Is that true?
Is it true that he was offered sandwiches and then it was pulled away from him?
Yes, that it's held over his head, or that it's pulled away from
at
him.
one point,
that...
Tom, let me just give you an example that's non-debatable within that.
Well, no. I'm trying to ask you a question. I want you to answer the question. Is that true?
But Tom, let me just give you an example.
Why?
That is non-debatable.
Can you answer the question and then give me an example? Like, is that true that that you guys are like using things to hold it over his head?
Well, that's what he said, for example, about YouTube. I said you can come on YouTube.
I know that's what he said. I want to
YouTube.
know if that's what you were doing.
With food?
Yes or no? Yes, I'm
his
asking
mother
you.
did food with him.
I don't care. That's not what I'm asking.
I didn't make him any food. I didn't make him any food. I didn't make him any food. Yes, I didn't make him any food. I didn't. If we had pizza or whatever, I'd offer him food.
Okay, and he's saying that you or Grace are not, regardless of whether or not you made him food, when you bring it to him, that you guys are using it to like as a power game.
Anything can be turned into a victim narrative. Okay,
that's not what I'm asking. Are
well,
you guys?
Let me make my point.
Food?
I answered your question, Tom.
You didn't answer my question. I'm still trying to ask the question. You still have not answered the question.
Okay, so we'll come back to it. Okay, but I tried to answer
fine.
it. I had nothing to do with food one way or the other. So he said, "I'm a victim because you don't come up here and talk to me. You never talk to me." But also, if I talk to him, he's a victim of that. That I barge into his life and demand that he. That can't be, right, Tom? You can't be both too distant of a parent and too demanding of a parent at the same time.
Distant and demanding? Sure. You can be distant and demanding. Like, as a parent.
Well, too close and too far away at the exact same time? No.
I don't think that demanding is necessarily too close.
Well, anyways, what the fuck? If he didn't like it there, he could have moved.
Sure, but you gave me the example and then asked if you could be both too close and too far away. And I'm saying that, like, you being demanding is one thing. You also not having, like, a father figure role in his life is a totally other thing. You cannot have this father figure role and be very demanding of him at the same time. It's probably being demanding that makes him feel like you don't have a father figure role in his life.
But Tom, look, I understand coming at it. You're like, you can't understand how a kid could get to this situation with his father. Like, for example, this did erupt into like this ridiculous violence in which he punched me on the head several times. I don't know about you, but I could never imagine punching my own father.
Was that the same day as the video that we were watching?
It's on that video. Yeah, he did that, and he had me arrested.
Well, no, so I'm asking, you guys are sitting there talking about his leg being broken, and that he's saying like you guys like play these power games with him and hold food over his head and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm asking, right after that conversation, you guys got into a physical fight?
No. That was a
different
Discord
time
call. And so this is the thing, like, was he a victim of being on that Discord call, Tom?
I don't know. It seems weird that you guys were having that conversation on like it was on a
But
stream,
isn't an
right?
adult able to do or not do? No, it wasn't on stream. That was a Discord call. These crazies were recording all of these calls because we were going to
Okay.
do their lolcast.
Okay,
which
that
is
makes
fine,
sense.
and I
Okay.
knew to some extent that could happen because we had these trolls, and I told
No,
everyone.
no, that changes a lot for me. Because yeah, it's that like from they don't tell you that they're only recording these Discord calls, especially not like they don't tell you that they're recording it without anybody's knowledge, and so
Right.
it seems like they're just showing you a live stream.
Yeah, I wish
and-
they would have. That's one of my problems with Shamu. I wish he would have made it clear. But I did it in one point. I said, this isn't on YouTube, so I can go ahead and say this. And then I said something that was a little edgier than I would have said on YouTube. And also the use of the, FAG slur a couple of times. I would never have done on YouTube, but I would do it in real life. Sorry.
But that's a weird way to talk to your son. I mean, I'm not like based on his gripes with you, he seems really upset. And then immediately your responses to these things, it could have like there could be like this dynamic over a long period of time to where you feel fed up, but to call your own son like a faggot, tell him to go to hell, tell him you hope he burns in hell, that sort of stuff. Like, that's you like. I cannot imagine my own dad ever saying stuff like this. People get frustrated. My dad, him and I have had like a very, is it tensious? Is it
contentious?
Contentious, yes, a very contentious relationship for a long time, and like we always had like our issues. But no, if he ever like, he's never like physically threatened me. He's never called me a faggot. He's never called me a gay or
not even joking around.
No.
Well, I mean, I grew up with that language, so it's New England. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not being homophobic. But I
weren't you guys in the same house, or was Grace in the house with him?
The situation, we were in actually a commercial space at the time, Grace and I, because I didn't want to get a lease on an apartment when I was separated and hoping to reconcile. So I didn't want to, you know what I mean, like put down a whole year for him. And then the thing about the cat, so he got a cat. He brought a cat there he wasn't supposed to bring, and the landlord, he's 18 years old, so the landlord was like, I don't know, I don't want an 18-year-old kid living up here. Boy, right? It's the worst case, like kind of landlord scenario, who isn't working, but the guy's a nice guy. So then John sneaks his cat in. So I was like, okay, I'll have to pay you a whole year. Then he doesn't get the cat spayed, and the cat gets out the door and gets impregnated by a black male cat. And then has a litter of cats. So he's got 5 cats up there. And the landlord had already said, I do not want cats. So I had to go bribe the landlord by paying another year ahead, $13,000 cash to him to keep him there. And he still feels like a victim. Now, at what point is an adult, an 18-year-old, going to be responsible and say, like, I'm going to get my cat spayed? Right?
Sure.
Isn't that a reasonable thing to say? The landlord didn't want a cat in here in the first place, but be fucking responsible. But, oh no, now I've got 5 kittens. I got 4 kittens and a cat living up here. You know what I mean? And you're putting my situation at risk with my landlord, who's a great guy. He actually watches the streams.
But you understand that there are people who like put other people in their lives into positions where they are dependent on them, and then they use that dependence to manipulate those people and to get them to do the things that they want them to do.
I think that
can already happen. Just from like the little bit that I've seen of you, it does seem like there's always this like want for power over people, and like conversations are normally like some sort of power game. But then I see him literally say that numerous times in the call, and it seems like a full justification of everything that I had been reading into the dynamics.
How would I have any power when he
far.
was absolutely, even though I paid 2 years, I said, anytime this doesn't work out for you, you can leave. If you don't want to be on YouTube, you don't have to be on YouTube, but I think you can have a great career. And he even with his spurging out, it was interesting content. So I was like, you should do this, but you don't have to. He got a job. I mean, what more can a father do for his son than that? I'm encouraging him to participate in a career which has borne fruits, although I do think my Destiny thing was a total disaster. But anyways, but he can do his own thing. I set him up with, he's an artist. I set him up with a studio, a big studio, encouraged him, and was happy to like fund his career. But if he feels like that's controlling, then do your own thing. How is it, Tom? How can someone be a victim in that situation?
I just explained how they could be a victim. Literally everything.
He's
that I just
free
explained.
to say no to every aspect of it.
Yes, he is free to say no.
So
but
how
he has,
can
like,
he claim to be a victim of it?
That is that's a huge effect on somebody's life, right? To have to like move out of where they're at, especially when their leg is broken, they're kind of like stranded.
He was free to move out before that.
Sure. Well, and it sounds like, I mean, did he move out after the whole?
No.
Fight?
He created an insane situation in which he had a restraining order. He was not supposed to come back to that apartment. He came back to it. And if that got triggered, because Grace had a restraining order on him on that point, because he was being really stupid with her. So I told him, you can't come back here. And I knew that, like, if you break a restraining order, you go to prison. You don't just go to the local jail for 5 minutes. You go to prison. So I was like, all I said to him is, we've got to work something out now. I didn't get him arrested. His sister got him arrested. And he was being violent towards her. I don't see where he has a right to do that. She was on the lease. He was on the lease. Okay.
Is this the same conversation where they're like telling? I forget exactly what it was, but there was something where I heard like, was it Courtney, or I don't remember if it was Courtney or Grace, but one of them is saying like, hey, like, maybe we'll call the cops on you. We need you to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
like,
it's a little
if you
unclear.
do X, Y, and Z, then we won't call the cops on you.
Yeah, after the assault, Grace had videotaped that. That wasn't live streamed. She had just taped it because she was like, it was like self-defense. Like, okay, you're going to abuse me. I'm getting it on tape, which I think people do have a right to do if they've been subject to abuse for years. So she got it on tape. He went crazy and attacked her on camera. Then showed it to her mother and I, and so we were on stream. This was all just happened. I didn't even realize I was just streaming, and I was like, okay, well, so we showed it on stream, and we're like, okay, well, he should apologize. All he has to do is apologize. She wasn't severely injured, but he was on stream going, ha ha ha, win. I'm an alpha male. Fuck you guys, right? So there's a whole history behind that, because no, it's irrational to act like that, right? And I was saying, like, well, that's an assault, John. What the hell are you thinking? Even today, Tom. Okay, so he's living separately. There were people in her Discord, which is the only place that she will talk to me. Okay. They were making, they said, I am going to I'm going to murder and decapitate you, Ben. Okay? That is a crazy thing to allow to be said on your Discord. And then I'm accused of pedophilia and all this stuff. And I'm like, Courtney, discipline your Discord. And she goes, well, they have a right to their opinion. And I said, these are illegal things that they're doing. Right? And John was in there too. And he goes, ha ha, Dad's a FAG. Right? Okay. And I'm like, this is not funny. It's not funny. I don't know where. I do know where this comes from. It's just an incredible hostility. It's just a hostility. And naturally, he protects his mother, right? The oldest son is going to protect the mother naturally, right? He's going to kind of take her side.
Maybe I don't actually think that that's true. I think that
I do think it is.
I don't think I think that you keep having these excuses for somehow everybody around you and Grace thinks that you guys are abusive, yet you guys always have some reason for why you guys aren't abusive, and everybody else is just kind of crazy.
Well, not everybody. The 4 younger kids have come to understand the situation. The police have come to understand the situation. DCYF has come to understand.
It's the younger kids that I would trust the least. It's the younger kids that are going to be the easiest to manipulate. It's the adults who seem to have this opinion. It's the adults who all seem to be the crazy ones. They don't know what's actually going on.
Tom, can I just give you a theory? Okay, and you can say no. Okay. A lot of times people see me, and I represent for them their father or masculinity. And if they have issues, I immediately, this happened when I was teaching. It happens, right? So if a guy has like issues with his dad and he's got a 6'8" teacher who's fairly masculine, I'm not really all that masculine, but whatever. I become the epitome of whatever. And some kids will just go crazy and just be incredibly hostile, where the rest of the kids are like, what's up with you? That happens a ton on the internet, because internet people are not a slice of society. And especially when you get into drama channels and trolls, a ton of these people have. I mean, Tom, what kind of people would seek out mentally unstable people to try to trigger them into harming themselves on stream?
Sure.
What
I'm
sort
not
of?
even
No,
disagreeing.
I want you to tell me
No,
what
no,
is
no,
the
no.
setup for
I don't.
that.
I am not defending these people. I
No,
don't know
I'm not
anything
saying
about
that.
them.
I'm saying, what is the psychology of that? What is
I
the
have no idea.
psychology?
I don't like.
They're
They're trolls.
insecure.
That's what trolls do. Okay?
They're insecure people who are bullies, right? Who are
Sure.
losers, who want to find someone lower than them to feel better about themselves. And
Okay,
they
sure.
hide behind their PFPs, not like you and me, right? I think real men use their names, use their faces, okay? But there is a kind of nasty human being who's on the internet who will do all this crazy stuff, and they think it's cool, and they think society's not going to come get them. And I'm here to tell those motherfuckers, I'm coming after all of you.
Yeah, but it's not. So again, it's not. It happens to be people online. I didn't know all of these people, yet still, this is the opinion that I came to. I'm not a professional,
Right.
but it is just
But
over
my
time,
theory is
the
that
dynamic.
you tend to, our culture tends in general, movies, culture in general tends to see males as dangerous. You ever watched Law and Order SVU? You ever watch that show?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know who's always you know what's always to blame? The male penis.
Sure.
The penis. It's a penis's fault, right? Okay. That's our culture. We have a feminized, like a kind of victim. Men are always to blame, and that's not true.
Like you're talking about a show about crime where men are actually committing crimes at a much higher rate than women.
But many of those crimes happen. Many sexual crimes occur because of women's behavior.
What does that mean?
It means exactly what it means.
Well, I have no idea what that means. What do you mean a sexual crime happens because
Take domestic
of
violence.
behavior?
Take domestic violence, okay? I think most police officers will concede that usually this is a problem that the police can't really do anything about. A few months back, last summer, I saw a guy at a beach. He checked this woman that just like physically checked her. He's a huge guy. Checked this woman. We had seen her earlier. She was clearly on drugs. And then he got checked by her. My instinct is protect her. But I could see, and then she comes running after him. And it's like, I don't know. You both like this. I don't know that that's a victimless crime. I think they're both idiots. And I think they shouldn't do that in public because it's disorderly conduct. But she's not a victim of him. They have an unhealthy relationship. Would you concede that? Very likely.
I have no idea. The guy, all you told me is that out of nowhere he checked her. And
I don't know. They were doing this thing of back and forth. It was an unhealthy relationship. The woman was clearly wanted more of it, right? She didn't run away.
I don't know why she wants more. You said, what do you
and then
mean?
I saw them like a couple hours later, and the police had stopped them or whatever. Women, abusive men, and women who like abusive men. It's like, I don't think it's healthy, but there's something there that is like they're both doing it, right, Tom?
Sure. I mean, people who are in abusive scenarios lots of times are like feel stuck there. They also, I mean,
both male and female.
Assuming
There's a cycle
you saw
there.
my conversation with my last conversation with your daughter, where I'm talking about the fact that she sounds like an abuse victim with Stockholm syndrome.
Right. You're like knee-jerk bubblegum bottom of the cracker jack box psychobabble analysis. That's this crap. You don't know what you're talking about, Tom.
Sure, I would say at that point, yes. Today,
projection. So it's projection. Everything's projection.
Feel pretty justified in that opinion today.
Yeah, but it doesn't really add up. So you think Grace is a victim of abuse?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So does a victim of abuse usually have a radiant personality and, right? Isn't it? Don't we usually see signals?
Well, no. So again,
trauma?
if she's actually like buying into your narrative of things, that's what Stockholm syndrome is, right? Where they buy into the narrative of their abuser and start to sympathize with them. So no, of course not. Like at that point, they're going to start to mimic the behaviors of their abuser. They're going to start doing the same things as the abuser.
Yeah, but Tom, so you're saying abuse can lead to success?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and the person feels really happy and grateful for the situation? No, Tom. An abusive situation,
that is not.
If there's evil, then it will manifest itself in negativity.
Okay.
Grace is a wonderful young lady. She's super smart. She's going to kick ass tomorrow. I love the fact that she's doing her career, and she's perfectly free to do it or not do it. And I encourage all my other kids, if they want to be on YouTube, to do it or not do it. How's that abuse?
Do you think that a parental figure can have a sexual relationship with a child and it be like a consensual dynamic?
A child? No.
Like their own child. Like they could be 18, 19, 20, whatever. But
is there such a thing as consensual incest, is what you're saying?
Yes. Like
parent, child, or sibling, or whatever?
Yes. Parent child.
Yeah.
Because when you're asking me how somebody could be in this type of like you've never heard of this type. No, you're saying that you've never heard of this type of dynamic where the person is perfectly okay with the scenario that they're in. Yeah, children are groomed.
Yes, but
into
Tom,
these scenarios
if there's a deeply disordered situation, it's going to manifest itself outwardly in largely, I would say, largely what happens in those situations where there's abuse, if it's a girl, usually she'll eat too much, she'll try to become unattractive, and she'll have sexual problems. I don't think that Grace has any of that stuff, so I don't.
That's not necessarily true. Being a narcissist is definitely
here's another
common
quality
of somebody who is an abuse victim.
Yes, narcissism. Okay, so but do you know what narcissism is? It's different than having high self-esteem, right?
Obviously.
Okay. Narcissism is that there's a kind of outward appearance of confidence, but that there's a frail, wounded inner person that's being covered up by this, right?
No, but not just covered up. They do not even acknowledge that that's the case.
Right. It's the shell, it's this facade built around.
It is exactly what an abuse victim does to cope with the reality that they exist in.
Right. So you're saying Grace is narcissistic? She's not narcissistic at all.
So you're saying that there are going to be things that show outwardly of an abuse victim, and I'm saying that I clocked Grace as a narcissist before I knew about
because
all
she's
of this other stuff.
Because she's attractive?
Has nothing to do with whether or not
because she's articulate?
Has literally nothing
because
to do
she's
with
confident?
her being articulate. No.
So
no,
what is
not
it
at all.
then, Tom?
The way that she defends abuse when she's talking about Steven Crowder.
Well, you're making it up that it's abuse. You're saying that it's abuse.
I'm not making it up. Like he is using.
Oh, okay. So
language.
Now we have to agree with you, and then you build from that.
You can be wrong.
Psychological analyses.
No.
What if you're wrong, Tom?
Well, I'm not wrong.
Okay. So all right. So let's understand what this channel's about. You have omniscience. You're all-knowing, and if we disagree with you, we have a mental illness. That's how it goes?
No, I didn't say that you have a mental illness.
You said I'm not wrong. So you're admitting you won't admit the possibility you could be wrong.
That Steven Crowder was using abusive language. No, he was.
Okay.
Like he just was.
You're not willing to admit that there's a possibility that you could be wrong about that.
There is a possibility, sure.
Okay,
but I'm
good.
like,
so we could start with
99% sure that he is being abusive in that scenario.
Am I being abusive of you right now?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, but someone could see it that way.
Somebody could, yeah.
Okay, but you're not a little bitch about it, right?
Well, I mean...
Was I being abusive at the end of Destiny's thing? It fucking sucked. He's just sitting there like moping.
You realize the way that you're doing this, even the way that you're doing this makes it sound like Like, you do not even understand what it is that I'm calling abuse. When you start asking me if I think I'm abused or if Destiny is being abused, it sounds like you just have absolutely no clue what it is that I'm talking about when I talk about abuse. Or it's either
I know what you're talking about.
No. Either you do not understand what it is that I'm what it is that I'm talking about, or you are trying to obfuscate so hardcore that you are willing to start asking if
Tom,
this
let's
is
not do
abusive,
the
or if your
ethnic
conversation with Destiny was abusive.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a sneaky guy. I get it. I know what we're saying here. I don't know my ethnic background, but there are
I knew
rumors.
you were about to do this. I knew you were about to do this. Has nothing to do with you being Jewish.
Hollywood Ben. That's why they call me Hollywood Ben.
But you understand that, like, somebody can be in an abusive relationship and be completely happy with the relationship as far as they know.
Yeah, you'd say like someone like Ghislaine Maxwell, something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. She's happy. She's rich. Okay, there's something obviously off there, but maybe like people get off on being like rich and powerful and manipulating others. I get that, and there are tendencies within both me, but especially Grace, to be Machiavellian, right? So to sort of use other people and manipulate them.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing, Tom. If I'm this guy who's like a master manipulator and a master obfuscator, the wife of my children is like, how's this going? It's not going very well.
You've got the only other adult out of the house who thinks that you're the other adults out of the house who think you're abusive as well.
I haven't gotten them out of the house. They've left the house.
Well, it seems as though they were in situations to where they had no other option but to leave. And so now those people have been pushed out of the house, and the only other people who have an influence on Grace and can keep telling her that she's in an abusive situation, those people are gone.
Okay. So then, but then if she tells you that there's no abuse going on here and that she's really happy and that she's free to leave whenever she wants, you will say, aha, well, you have Stockholm syndrome, right? Couldn't be that she actually just really is happy and that she was being abused when her mother was around and that she's really grateful that I fought tooth and nail to defend my kids against that abuse and save them from a situation that was wrecking their souls.
I mean, I heard you talk about it fighting. I heard you talk about it with Destiny. I didn't hear anything that actually sounded abusive from the wife. It sounded like she was in like a rough situation and she wasn't really.
I understand she's in a rough situation. When a woman realizes she can't be a mother and is failing and it's being called out, that's a tough situation. I think our culture doesn't really have like a place for women like that. And I do sympathize a lot with women like that. However, I do not sympathize with them blaming their spouse and abusing their kids in order to maintain their, sort of sense like I couldn't possibly deal with this. You've got to fucking deal with problems.
So we just have to deal with your reality, and the rest of us are crazy. So if you have to deal with the truth. You're being abusive. The rest of us are just wrong, and actually you're the one who's right.
Well, that's what you tried to do with me. You said,
no, I'm literally turning your language on you. Yes, of course. Like, you can have an opinion, but we're going to have evidence to these things to be able to come to a conclusion. We can look at certain instances and talk about whether or not those instances are abusive.
Yes, right. So we take the evidence. But now, see, here's the thing. We take the evidence in a situation like this. There are some people who have daddy issues. And so they are anti-masculine. So they will always see things in terms of the woman being a victim. And women play into that.
There are tons of times where I'm on here talking about the fact that somebody is accusing some dude of being abusive, and I'm talking about how they're wrong. So I am not the simp who is always on the woman's side saying that she's being abused.
No, I think you're a mix. I think that you're a mix. You said yourself you have contentious relationship with your dad, but you don't have no relationship with your dad. A lot of times when you have no relationship with your dad, I don't know, was it Destiny that was showing? A lot, you find this a lot in the Black community where there's just a victim mentality and there isn't really an understanding of like responsibility because the father figure is not there. Would you admit that's true? There's a victim mentality where there is a lack of fathers. There's often an extreme victim mentality that takes place. which can be very, very destructive because people are not taking responsibility. And I get that they don't take responsibility because their fathers weren't there to guide them. But you can't just say, well, okay, so I'm going to be destructive in my life and burn down cities because I didn't have a daddy. You've got to find a way to make that happen.
Yeah, but lots of times they're not burning down cities. What they're doing instead is going and creating OnlyFans or becoming strippers or porn stars or things like that instead, right?
Well, look, here's a perfect example. You had that little bitch sick on here, and I told him that I was encouraging Grace to do a Twitch stream. Now, that guy is a Twitch streamer, right? And he said I was encouraging her to do sex work. Isn't that crazy, Tom?
Maybe.
There are Twitch streams that... Oh, you should get to know Hormaxer. He's the best. Is he coming on?
I don't think I want to know Hormaxer.
He's terrific.
Who is Hormaxer?
Tom, if you get a hold of this guy, you are going to be absolutely... You're going to be the next big thing. Hormaxer is a half Italian, half a Jewish man who is a rhetorical genius. He's like Howard Stern. He's a little saucy. Why, is he trying to come on?
No. There's video.
He's part of our lore. He's part of our lore.
Of you getting your daughter to dance provocatively for him in a call, putting on sexier clothes for him.
Yeah.
As he says, like very degrading things to her.
Yeah. She's an adult, and I was telling her, look, Tom, we're not talking about children here. On the internet, a beautiful female has a lot of power, and she can use it wisely or she can use it poorly, but she can't pretend she doesn't have it. Would you agree with that?
Or she can use it in favor of her father.
Right. And she should.
So...
What do you mean in favor of her father?
Well, you're sitting there telling her to do these things. He's sitting there telling her to do these things. There's it looks like obviously
I was trying to get him to be her e-pimp so that I wouldn't be accused of all this stuff. I was saying
it looks like you're her e-pimp.
I was trying to not do it anymore. I was saying you be her imp.
Don't do it anymore. You never should have done it in the first place. You're her dad. It's weird for you to be in a call where she's doing this in the first place.
No, you're wrong about
that. I am not wrong about that. That's
you are
weird.
wrong. Yes, Tom, you could be wrong about things. Now listen,
I can be wrong about things, but that's weird. We were talking earlier about whether or not a father and a child can be in a relationship that's sexual and it be consensual. I don't think that's the case, and I think that this is crossing over the lines. No, not just incest, but there are lines to where a father-daughter relationship should go, and the daughter should not be dancing provocatively in front of her dad for other guys. That's weird.
Well, so is Taylor Swift's father an abuser if he says dress in a way that's going to make you win the contests?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say that her father was an abuser. Yeah.
Losers. I don't know that that's true, but if he says listen, this is how this works. You've got to use your physical attractiveness as part of the... Isn't that true, Tom? Isn't that true that a female performer does have to be aware of her image, as does a male performer? Listen, Tom, let me give you an example. I run a bar, and I've got a beautiful young daughter, and the young men come in early. Aren't I going to put her up in the bar to sell beer to provide for our family, or is that pimping her out?
Yeah,
and then later the old men come in and I talk with them. Is that a problem?
Just having her there is one thing. Saying, hey, buddy, come on over here. My daughter's going to dance for you for a while. Let me go turn on the music so that she can dance for you. Hey, make sure you don't give it all away. Make sure you keep your, you put on your skirt over there so everybody can't see everything.
Yeah. Okay. So couldn't a bartender father say we do a song and dance show or something like that, and you should look attractive because that's how this business runs. It does not mean you should degrade yourself, but a lot of men come here and you're the MC and you know, like you do the show. What is fucking wrong with that, Tom? It's called reality.
Again, reality.
Okay, but if I was just some guy hiring her and I said that, it's fine with you, right? It's fine if I say, hey, you know, could you, you know, sort of look a little more attractive for the customers. That's fine with you, but if it's your father, it's immoral. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm saying that there are father-daughter dynamics that.
Why? Why can a stranger say, look, this is, you know, we want you to dress a certain way for this movie. If I'm a director, if I'm a director, I can say, do a kissing scene and, you know, whatever, do this, have her, the guy's going to grab your ass. But if I'm her father and I'm the director, I can't do that. Why?
Because
it's art.
It's, well, in this case, it's not art, but
in what case it's not art? A film?
No, in this case where we're looking at a girl by herself in this call with this sleazy looking dude and her dad, while he's like the dude who's very degrading to her, who's telling her to like take off her panties, telling her she's a dirty slut, telling her to lick her underwear. She's like crying, like, I don't want to do this. This is degrading. This is disgusting. And he's laughing like, yeah, it is disgusting. You're a dirty little whore.
He does BDSM.
Yes,
Tom,
but that's weird that you have any part in this. That's weird. You are an authority figure in her life. You should not be in that role whatsoever. That is weird.
Tom, I don't understand what you're talking about. Young people
I think you
these
understand
days,
what I'm talking about.
Young people yeah, I understand if she was 8 years old, totally. I agree with you. John Benet Ramsey, I don't understand any of that stuff.
No, it's not just 8 years old. You are still like an authority figure in her life. My parents will always be authority figures in my life, regardless of how old I get. They can't tell me what to do, but if they do tell me what to do, I have a level of respect for them. I have already been groomed into this position where I'm more likely to listen to them than anybody else. Somebody choosing to do sexual things uncoerced is one thing, but being coerced into a sexual scenario is totally different.
Well, I mean, that thing she did with Hormaxer, with the licking the panties, she did totally on her own. I had nothing to do with that.
You were there. You were telling her to do it. What do you mean? You were encouraging it. I watched you. You were sitting right there encouraging her to do these things. I am watching you sit there. You're talking about licking the panties. Sure. But
that
with him sitting there,
thing, I don't do that. I don't do that.
But he's sitting there still being degrading towards her while you are getting her to dance provocatively. She's taking off her clothes and changing into sexier clothes so that she can dance in front of him. You are sitting there
nice
encouraging this.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Totally
what do you mean that's fine? That's disgusting.
Well, all right. So what happened when we first came on the internet, we ran into these ortho bros, these lunatics and these Catholics. And they were telling her she couldn't wear makeup. She had to wear plain everything. She had to wear dresses that covered, or else they were victims of their own testicles. They would say, I get blue balls from looking at you. It's not fair. And I was like, guys, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I said to her, because she got wound up about it. Okay, now you'll say to me, it is not a father's job to help his daughter loosen up sexually. It can be. It can
be. Again, there are certain ways of doing
I use this phrase, pop your fucking cherry, Grace, on the internet. Okay? Get used to it, because there's a reality. Look, if you do this thing, well, my daughter, I don't pay any attention. I'm saying to her, it's thrilling for young women to have an incredible amount of sexual attention at a very early age. And that happens on the internet, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they should not abuse that either by playing like, I don't know what's going on here, I'm a little fucking princess, or by leaning too far into it and degrading themselves. It's a tricky thing for a young woman to do. Because she's 15, she's 16, she's just a kid. And then all of a sudden, boom, you've got an enormous amount of power. And it's not there forever. But if you want to, you can use that power responsibly and make people happy, including men, including women. But she's free to do whatever she wants with that. But I would not counsel her. But I'm not going to stop her, Tom. I'm a liberal.
But you did counsel her. You just told me you counseled her.
She was being a little bit too much of a princess. She bought a fucking
you counseled her. Yes, you pushed her towards that direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to tell young men this is what it is, Tom. This is what parenting is these days. You got to tell the guy, like, it's okay to have a penis. Okay, let's bring this vagina over. Okay, guys. And they're like, I can't do it, right? You got to be like, it's okay, guys. It's nature. It's okay. Sex is good. It's going to be all right. Everyone's afraid of it.
People can do that. People in positions of power cannot do that. That is coercion.
They don't do it. I'm not saying I'm literally doing that, Tom.
Of course, but you are pushing them in that direction.
You heard her come on here.
You heard her come on here and talk to me the other day. Did you find it weird when she says to me, because I'm twice her age, and she says to me, Tom, I look at you as a father figure, but then moments later she's hitting on me and telling me that I need to fix her and talking about me being good looking and things like that. As her actual father, in her actual father figure, does that not feel weird to you to hear her hitting on somebody who she just said was a father figure?
Tom, we're on the fucking internet, right? So, I mean, what the hell? What
do you mean, what the hell? If it was my daughter, I'd be like, that's freaking weird, dude. I don't want to hear you say that. That's weird. I would definitely, she can flirt with me, but for her to like put me in this position that is similar to you and then flirt with me, that seems a little off.
Let me change the circumstance. I was at the bowling alley with my older sons, and they're very like, I can't deal with things because they've gone through a long period. And I was like, look, there's some slutty girls over there. Go talk to them. Now, am I sexualizing my sons? I'm saying, go, like, they're obviously not here to bowl. What girls are here to bowl? They're dressed like they're looking for guys. So
again, you telling somebody that that they should go interact with people, that is totally different. That is totally different. You sitting in a Discord or in a call, in a StreamYard call, while your daughter is sitting there and you are encouraging her to dress provocatively, to change into a shorter skirt, and the guy is literally degrading her while she's she's sitting there. Yes, of course it is degrading.
I'll concede it, Tom. I'll say, like, for example, look, I'll say something like, wear low cleavage, guys like that. Show off your tits. It helps. Okay. If you want to do that, because she was very uptight, I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. Do it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with having breasts. And I had to have these fucking conversations like I'm having with you. Do you know what fucking people are doing in real life, Tom? Do you know what it's like to be a young person? You know what it is to date in 2023? You know what these people do? They don't know how to interact, and they play out porn routines. So I got to tell them, like, okay, we got to learn how to do this without it being so crazy and alienating. Okay, so I got to tell my daughter, like, it's okay, right? We've got to calm this generation down about the sexual stuff and go, like, it's okay. You got a pair of tits.
Yes, but there are actual like guidelines for these sorts of things where you have a conversation with your child about, like, this is where the PP is, this is where the vajayjay is. It's okay to feel these feelings. It's okay to want to interact in these ways, like that sort of stuff. But this is very different from what we're talking about.
Well, I'm in the entertainment field, Tom. I'm in the entertainment field, right? I'm Hollywood Ben. So if I see a beautiful woman, I'm going to say, like, why wouldn't you want to, without degrading yourself, I'm not Harvey Weinstein, look good. You ever seen Taylor Swift? She looks good. Good for her. She's not a slut. Her family doesn't belong in jail. I'm glad she's a beautiful woman. It's not against the law. It's not against nature to be a beautiful woman with a beautiful voice who's sharing beautiful music with the world. What the fuck happened here?
It just so happens to continuously benefit you at the same time. You're not just encouraging her so that she has healthy relationships. You are encouraging her into positions that are going to be beneficial for you.
So what? It's a win-win. It's called a family, Tom.
This is insane, dude.
You can't have a family business? What do you think? I'm not saying that Jackson 5 was totally healthy, but don't you think the dad, in some ways, was a genius, right?
Would you want to be that dad? Would you want to be that dad?
Would I want my kids to succeed? Yes. Do I think he was probably too pushy? Yes. Right? But I'm saying he was also right about a lot of things. They were a crossover band.
But that's
America
what we're
was ready
talking
to
about.
embrace
We're talking about you
kid.
being too pushy. We're talking about you being in a position where you should not be encouraging these sorts of things in the ways that you're doing it.
Tom,
you are being too pushy.
Okay, Tom, I have established for her in the last few days a co-host, this guy named Roger Brown. I don't know if you've seen her streams. He's a guy in Kentucky, a sweetheart of a man, and I'm super happy that she's found him. Because I want him to be her co-host, and he loves
what happened
doing
to
it.
No Fap Gamer?
I wanted to hand her off to him, but he's fucking nuts. The guy's nuts.
He says that she would send him provocative pictures, and you would look at the pictures.
Yeah, he's lying. He's lying.
What he said that you knew literally like exact words that were in their text messages.
She told me, yeah, I sent him a pic, and I was like, okay, be careful. This is what I told her. Be careful because you just know that could come out, and it did come out. Her ass is on the internet or whatever, but she's wearing something that it's like, PG. So what, Tom?
What do you mean?
I'm trying to help her negotiate it.
This is too much for me.
Mom, if I had a son, right, and he's I like somehow I hear he's like sending dick pics, I would say, be careful about that because the internet's forever, right? Or if a girl's like at the beach taking pictures of herself, okay, be careful because even if it's on your phone, someone could hack it, right?
Yes,
or
but if your son's sending dick pics and you go look at the dick pics, that's weird.
If you're with your boyfriend, and I know people do this, Tom, they take pictures. Paris Hilton is not the only person who made a video for her boyfriend, and whether she meant to or not, it got out there, okay, and it probably worked for her in a certain way, but you just got to be careful about that stuff, and a girl in love with a boy might not understand that, right?
Yeah,
it might be
and
like,
if her
okay,
dad, if
it's a way of
Paris
showing
Hilton's
trust.
dad went and watched the videos, that would be weird.
Well, I didn't, Tom, so, okay, you could accuse me of being a liar. I did not. I don't go into her phone. I'm not that interested in her fucking sex life. I don't care. She sexted some loser troll at some point. She told me about it. I was like, I don't give a fuck. What do you want me to? She's still crying about it. I'm like, well, you're an idiot. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
And if you sent him pictures, it's your fucking fault.
You did not seem like you wanted to hand her off to No Fap Gamer. You
I
did not like that
I
guy.
was actually teared up when he was like, I'll be here for her. And I was like, I was driving. I was doing something. And I came back and I was like, oh, let's do like an betrothal. Let's have like she can be your we can, and who knows where it goes. But the guy just didn't have any balls,
Okay.
So I did the porch thing with her. What is wrong with that, Tom?
No,
What's
nothing's wrong
it?
with the porch thing. Nobody said anything's wrong with
It
the
was
porch
good
thing.
content.
Don't
It
act
was
like I
funny.
said that. Don't act like I said there was anything wrong with that, okay?
But you seem to be obsessed with the idea that I have sexual feelings towards Grace. And so does the whole
why do you
entire
say
internet.
obsessed? Why do you say obsessed?
Because normally a man doesn't do what you're doing.
I'm not doing anything. I went and watched the videos today. I went and watched the videos today, and you asked to come on here, and so now I am talking to you about those things. I did not message you and say, hey, I really want to watch a bunch of videos about your freaking family, and then I want you to come talk to me about it afterwards. This is not what I planned on doing whatsoever. So I am not being obsessive. I am not being weird here whatsoever.
No, I appreciate you talking to me after that Destiny thing. It was
You
crazy.
just called me obsessive. You just said that I'm
You just keep
obsessing
saying,
over this thing.
Look, Tom, is my daughter objectively a very pretty girl? Yes. Okay, you know that, and I know that.
Sure, I don't have a problem with a dad saying that his daughter is pretty. I have no issue.
Do I hope that she makes young men sexually excited so that they approach her? Yes.
Okay.
Do I want to make sure that she rides the line between being too open, right, and degrade herself, and too closed off and be one of these fucking princesses? Yes. Does she need guidance on that? Yes. You know why? You know why, Tom? Because her mother never taught her how to be a woman. She didn't buy her bras. She didn't teach her. She didn't show her how fun it was going to be.
Her mom has issues, man. Her mom
Okay,
has
so
issues.
then the dad's got to do what the mom wouldn't do, because the mom was basically like, I don't
This is
have
again
anything to
very
give you.
different from what I would expect from her mom. But even like again, the way that you guys
Her
talk about
mother
her mom
is sexually
insanely
insane.
unempathetic.
Her
You guys
mother is
talk about her
sexually
mom.
insane.
This is why I say things like sociopath and narcissist. It's because like you guys are so unempathetic to her position and in the way that she like. You can look at her on stream
I'm
every
empathetic.
time.
I'm not talking. You're saying, why is it that a father would have to play this role? And I'm telling you the answer. That's not a lack of empathy. I'm just telling you the answer.
No, again, these are not even things
This
that I would
woman
expect
told
from her
Grace
mom.
and I
These are
when
not
we were
things that I would
outside,
expect from her mom
she's
either.
angry that animals have sexual activity and that she's really offended by like the penises of geese. This is a problematic person.
I promise you, if her mom was sitting in that StreamYard call encouraging her to dance for that guy while he's degrading her, I would have the same exact conversation with her. The genders changing would not change anything for me. Her mom doing these things would not change anything for me.
Do you
think it is the position that you guys are in that makes this a problem? It has nothing to do with the gender.
Okay. But do you think that a parent or parents should encourage their kids not to be too sexually uptight, but also not to be too sexually loose and find that middle ground, which is difficult in our day and age, especially if you're a performer, right?
Sure.
Do you think?
And I already talked about the fact that you can have these sorts of conversations while like explaining these things to them without actually being present and sitting there while they're dancing for somebody, telling them to put on sexier clothes, laughing when the guy's degrading them. Like these things are
Why
weird.
not? It's fucking funny. It's funny
not.
to have
That's
your dad.
weird.
It's funny. It's funny.
I would not want that for my daughter. I would want a guy who's any guy who's going to engage with her sexually whatsoever to be very respectful to her, to honor her, to appreciate her.
Christ.
I would want all of these things. I could not imagine actually
that's right.
sitting there while my daughter is treated.
You don't believe women are people. That's right. I forgot. You don't believe women are people. I'm the only true feminist because I think women are people. They're not fucking princesses. I'll tell you, Tom. Men who raise their daughters to think they're princesses are raising them for disastrous marriages. Would you agree with that? They're not fucking princesses. They're people. And marriage is not, you can have a nice wedding, but once the kids start and the sex happens, it's a grind. It's tough to live with another person. You're not a fucking princess. I tell Grace that every day. You're not a fucking princess. Life is hard. Get used to it.
It is not a fine line
and I'm doing her a fucking favor by doing that.
And BDSM. That is not a fine line. There is a massive gap
BDSM.
between princess and BDSM. This is very different. You said that this is what the guy is into, and that is what you were encouraging. He is sitting there degrading her, and you are sitting there laughing about it.
Tom,
you said it was
lying.
BDSM. You said it was BDSM.
No,
you are the one who said
that. She did that session. I had nothing to do with it. I was
You
neutral.
were sitting. Wait, you're talking about her licking the panties. You had nothing to do with her licking the panties.
When I was negotiating with him to be her e-pimp and to loosen her up a little, and obviously he's way on that side.
No.
But it's on the fucking internet,
You sat
Tom.
there. No, Ben, you sat there while he's saying, "Oh, I'd fuck her in front of everybody." I'm not even gonna lie. If I was there with her right now, I'd fuck the shit out of her right in front of your dad and everybody. You're sitting there laughing about it. You thought it was great. I would not want somebody talking to my daughter like that. I would not want them talking to her like that in a public area in front of a ton of people.
You don't have a daughter,
I wouldn't be sitting there laughing about it.
Okay. You know, I hear from these guys who go, I would never die, never. And then they tell me later that my daughter's a whore, right? That my daughter rebelled against me. She's a whore and I can't control her. Because a father with an adult daughter needs to recognize that she's sexually mature and that you got to roll with it.
Realizing she is sexually mature and doing these things are just, again, you are downplaying it so much.
Well, especially on the online, Tom, you know that girls can get like overwhelmed with the sexual attention and degrade themselves. I don't want that for her. But they can also be these fucking, Christian worst people who are, just awful and don't. I believe that her body was given as a gift.
I thought you were a Christian.
By God. I mean, these fake Christians, I hate them. These anti-sexual Christians, they go, you sexualize your daughter, right? And that's what you're doing because you're one of them, I guess.
Sure, but doesn't the Bible
God
actually
sexualize my daughter? She is sexual. She's not an 8-year-old. She's sexual.
But doesn't the Bible actually tell you to be celibate until you are in marriage?
That she has great sexual relations with men in her life that produce beautiful children. And I don't want to police that, but if she's acting in a way. You really think that the danger with my daughter is that she's sexually libidinous? And see, this is what everyone does. Your daughter's too uptight. She's a virgin. She's a whatever, right? She's never going to get it right. She's a misfit. And at the same time, she's a whore. Okay, so I feel good about that. Okay, so yeah, so maybe I'm doing well. Somewhere between the two. If half the world's saying she's a slut and half the world's saying she's a, what would it be, a prude, then I feel like, okay, we're in a good place. Good for you, Gracie.
You are telling me way more information than you should want to be telling me. If you are telling me that she was uptight, that she was a prude, and you encouraged her to be more open about these things, you encouraged her in into these positions. Again, you in a position of authority over her, you being able to benefit from all of these things. This is what we would call coercion. This is what we would call grooming. This is exactly what everybody's thinking about. This is literally it. You are talking about the thing. This is it. This is what it is we're talking about. You have laid out every single step right in front of me. I didn't even know about that part until you started saying it yourself.
Okay. Tom, I have no problem with Grace flirting with you. Do you have a problem with me saying like that's great?
No, that's you know that is totally different. No, you know that is totally different. You know that is totally different than what it is that I brought up. Man. You keep doing this where you are downplaying what it is that I'm actually saying, and it's the fact that you don't actually engage.
Old enough to be her father. You're a single man.
It is the fact that I am double her age. Okay, it is the fact that you don't actually engage with what it is that I'm saying is what shows me that you don't actually you are instead engaging with a straw man. You're engaging with a downplayed version of what I'm actually saying because you don't want to engage with what's actually happening.
You used it literally as an example of how I'm a bad father, that I tolerate.
Her flirting with me? That's what you think, that you think my example was her flirting with me. That's what you think.
You said it was inappropriate that she was flirting with you. I do not think it's inappropriate for a 20-year-old girl to be flirtatious with someone. You look like you're in your 30s.
I'm sorry you misunderstood that example. I'm sorry you misunderstood that example so much.
Why did you say it?
I said that at first she starts saying, I look up to you like a father, and then starts flirting with me. That is weird. That is a weird thing.
Yeah, right. It's the daddy thing, right? It's like, that's how a 20-year-old can flirt with a 40-year-old.
You keep talking about trying to make sure that she has healthy sexual relationships, and then you start throwing out these very unhealthy dynamics.
Tom, let's get real for 1 minute here, okay? And you're going to answer this question. I'm getting out of here because you're just full of shit. Did you enjoy the flirting, both the daddy thing and the saucy thing? And if you say no, I'm out of here.
Of course, any flirting is going to be flattering. Of course, any flirting is always flattering. But the daddy, her saying I look up to you like a father figure is her trying to manipulate me. Yes. I know what that is. I know it's her trying to manipulate me because she's a freaking narcissist. She is a freaking narcissist who sits there thinking she is capable of manipulating me.
Did you think it was fun?
Yes, I thought it was funny. Yes, I thought it was funny. I thought it was cute.
Fun.
I think it's
fun.
Fun. Sure. I guess if sure, it's fun.
Some hot chick comes up to you in a bar and she's 20 years old. She starts doing that stuff. I understand at a bar it can get a little tricky with someone with the age difference. On the fucking
this isn't normal behavior for somebody that much younger than me to come and interact with me that way.
I think she's normal.
Even
she's
Destiny,
crazy.
The way that she was interacting with him, he thought that it was so weird. The dynamic is odd.
Right. But her chat fucking loved it, and half of her chat is like, I want to marry that girl. Okay, good. I'm glad. I hope hundreds and thousands of young men want to sleep with my daughter, and in doing so, make children.
Okay.
That's part of fatherhood.
Again, that's very different from what we're talking about here. You know that's very different. You know that is different.
Tom, a lot of these young men, they cannot talk to anyone because they've been on the internet too much.
Stop with this crap, dude.
You don't think that's true?
I agree with it. It's just not relevant.
So what older men need to do is go, hey guys, let's go out and get laid. You know what I mean? I'm not into premarital sex, but I'm saying let's go meet some chicks. You guys need some pussy in your lives. I don't mind saying that, but I don't mean like I'm going to take them to see hookers. I'm saying you guys need to interact with each other. Go get some girls. don't stay online complaining about women. Do you agree with that? That's a problem. Staying online and complaining about women and saying I need to be 6'3" and I need to get this large of a penis and I need to get these surgeries.
Of course.
No,
yes.
get the fuck out. Get in the real world. Meet some girls, even online. Meet some people. It's a good thing for Grace to have the interaction she had with you and with Destiny and with everybody. Okay, maybe sometimes she'll be overly sexual. She'll have to pull back. Sometimes she'll be a little bit like maybe miss an opportunity that way. Have you ever fucking watched TV, Tom? David Letterman often flirted with younger female actresses, right? And there was attention.
Dude, you
and
know
people
my
like
issue
it.
is not the flirting. You know this. We just went over this. I don't know why you keep doing this.
Now,
you
did
know
we
my
push
issue
it?
is not the flirting.
Did we push it with Hormaxer? Yes, we pushed it with Hormaxer. I pushed it with Hormaxer. Yes, I did. I thought it was funny. Is there a chance she's going to be, what is the deal? She's going to be like raped and like sex trafficked by him. He's in Las Vegas. He's an uncle figure.
This creates problems for girls. Earlier, we were talking about girls who go and like become strippers and prostitutes and OnlyFans girls and stuff like this. These are the types of issues that they have. These are the types of problems that they have. They have like weird sexual dynamics with people in their families, and then they end up having trauma from that to where they go on to continuously have unhealthy sexual dynamics the rest of their lives.
Those girls almost all the time, what you'll find in their background, the girls who become prostitutes and porn stars, that they are alienated from their fathers. Not that their father's encouraging their career, because no father's going to encourage that kind of a career. Or very rarely would a father encourage that kind of career. But I'm saying, yes, Grace, if you're a beautiful young woman and you want to be a performer and you want to be big on the internet and you want to debate, wear stuff that shows off that, and that works for you. And me too, but it's different for women, right? Sure. What female in the sphere doesn't use sexual power, Tom?
Again, dude, you're
not so erudite. She gets what she's doing.
This is not working on me, dude. This is not working on me. You cannot keep changing it to something so totally different, where all of a sudden you're like, oh, just being sexual whatsoever. Oh, that's it. Oh, wow, you're such a prude. You know that's not what I'm talking about. You know that's not what I'm talking about. And every time I give an example, you immediately fall back to some straw man that you know I am not talking about.
Okay,
you know that.
That's not true. I know. I get it. I'm the trickster. But let's say Lav, right? Lav uses sexuality, right? She does, okay, as part of her shtick, correct?
Sure.
Okay. If her father said, I endorse Lav and I think what she's doing is great, that's your problem, right? But I think Lav is dignified. I don't think she's a whore on the internet.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But she does say that she has trauma, that she does these things because of trauma, that she has issues, that she stopped
maybe
doing
some
it
of
because...
maybe some of the unhealthy stuff. But I think if she's flirtatious in a debate, what's the problem?
You know my issue is not somebody flirting. You know this. We can keep going over this. You are not tricking me with this bullcrap where all of a sudden I'm going to agree to some very low-level thing to where, oh, well, that means I agree with all the other bullcrap that is completely irrelevant.
Let me tell you this. I really enjoy talking with you. It really is healing because being with a man like Destiny, I was like, it was just crazy. The energy was crazy. So I really appreciate you let me.
Sure.
Now, I do have a date with a 23-year-old Twitch streamer named Malik at 3:00. She is my sort of e-counselor. Now, I have no intentions with her. Do I flirt with her? I do. She's 23 years old. She's been through a very similar situation, and she likes to be a little bit saucy. She's not degrading. She's a Christian. She's devout, but we flirt. I'm looking forward to that, and I think it's okay. It's an e-relationship. I've told her I'm not saying there was no way in hell I could ever actually hook up with you, but that's the last thing on my agenda at this point. And I think it's fine if we have a relationship. And here it is, Tom.
Sure.
That in some ways is father-daughter, and in some ways is flirtatious man and woman. I think it's okay.
She's not your actual daughter. I don't think you can groom this woman. What you're talking about with Grace is grooming. What you're talking about with this other girl is just like an older man, sort of fetishy type relationship. That's totally different.
It can be dangerous because I went on what do you call that? Tinder. Tinder? Is that the dating site? As a lark, because I was like, I think I can get some chicks. And I did get like a 27-year-old girl who clearly, it was, that's tricky. And she wanted to meet up IRL. And I was like, I don't know, because I don't want to be someone's daddy. But do I find 27-year-olds attractive? Is that wrong?
No, that's not wrong. Stop.
Are you sure?
Will you quit playing with me? You are not. This is not working on me. Okay. Again, you are not.
Well, let me try this one.
You are not using some other lower bull crap that I am not talking about.
Well, let me push you.
Happening. Okay.
Let me push you, Tom. What about if I find a 21-year-old attractive? Is that okay?
Yes, it's fine.
I'm just
you can find
physically.
a 16-year-old attractive.
Okay. Okay. So that's where I'm going to go.
Yes, you can find a 16-year-old
sexually attractive.
There's nothing wrong with finding them attractive as long as you do not pursue any sort of relationship with this person. There is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But that is obviously insanely different from what it is that we're talking about here. So just to
a lot of people would say, if you admit, which everyone would know, that there are 16-year-olds out there that are the fruit is ripe on the vine, and you have, I'm just saying biologically, all the markers are there, right? That's going to be true if you're 90 years old. You're still going to say like, yeah, well, I mean, obviously this is a young-ish, no one's going to find a 90-year-old woman attractive, right? I mean, we're human beings. I'm not saying that's necessarily healthy. There are all sorts of problems that there can be with that, but the sexual response is not unnatural to a younger woman.
Sure. That's
right.
fine.
And I'm sure that's true of women too. They would find 18-year-old guys attractive. I have no problem with that. If you're getting into 11 and 12 years old, I'd have no idea what that is. But a lot of people, Tom, clutch their pearls like you're clutching your pearls with me. But I think what you're saying is the father-daughter dynamic here is unusual. I agree with you, and I've explained it to you.
Do you believe in grooming? Do you believe in grooming? Do you even think that this is a thing? Do you even believe in it as a concept?
Yeah, can people be groomed into being exploited by adults? Yes. Absolutely. That's
okay,
absolutely
what would that look like?
So now I have to defend myself against the accusation that I've sexually groomed my own daughter. And you think that that's a reasonable conversation to have?
If you're telling me that it didn't happen, and this is what I'm accusing you of, I would think it'd make sense if you did defend yourself in some way at some point. Yes, I think that would make sense.
How would it work if I was like an sexually abusive father towards my daughter? Is that what you're saying?
You don't have to keep rewording everything I'm saying. I'm asking the question that I'm asking, and I would like you to answer that question.
You're asking me, how does that happen?
I'm asking, yes, if you believe in grooming, and I'm telling you that I think this is obviously grooming, but you're telling me this is not grooming, but something else is grooming. I would like to know what that other thing is.
You're saying I'm sexually grooming Grace, even though I'm saying to her, I want you to be with these other men, and I want other men to be attracted to you. I'm grooming her for my own personal sexual pleasure.
I'm saying that is grooming.
Even though
I'm saying that the situations that we have talked about is grooming.
I have a date with a 20. I'm not saying a date, but I'm going to be interacting with a 23-year-old that I'm really looking forward to. But you're saying no, that doesn't count either. And I'm encouraging Grace to meet young men. No, that doesn't have anything. That doesn't seem healthy here. No, what it is you obviously have an unhealthy relationship with Grace. It doesn't add up, Tom.
Do you not want to answer the question? Is that
how does grooming? I know how homosexual grooming works because I worked in a boys' school. So, like, you become a coach or a Boy Scout leader. You try to find a kid who's got a broken family and a weak relationship with his father. You insert yourself and are very generous and warm towards that kid, so he trusts you, and then you try to manipulate him through drugs, alcohol, and intimacy and porn into having sex with you. That's how that happens. Do you agree with that?
It's not always necessarily into having sex with you. Like if
you're grooming someone for homosexual, I mean, that's how homosexual pedophilia works. I know that.
But it's not always, it's not always necessarily to have sex with you. You can groom people into having sex with anybody. Having a Boy Scout, somebody who's from a broken family, you gain their trust and then you manipulate them. This sounds like somebody who says, hey, this is my daughter. I'm going to convince her that her mom is actually abusive and manipulative so that I can manipulate her, and then I can gain her trust. And then once I've gained her trust, now I am able to manipulate her into doing sexual things on screen for other people so that I can gain clout from it. Yes.
I could say this for you.
And these are things that you've all admitted to. Literally everything that I just laid out, these are all things that you've actually admitted to today.
Tom, I am grooming Grace to become what I think would be a great internet star. That's true. I'm grooming and my younger son, Joe, who seems to have interest also, to be a great gaming streamer. I'm trying to enlist mentors to help him do that and mentors to help her do that. And I'm enthusiastic about her career as I am about my career. And but I think the difference between grooming someone against their will, this would be something where I'm getting validated through her, and I'm forcing her to do this for my validation.
Again, no, everything that you just laid out with the Boy Scout, everything you laid out with the Boy Scout, there was no forcing anybody, and they were doing it with,
there is.
They were consenting to it. What do you mean?
No.
Yes, everything that you laid out with the Boy Scout, they were consenting to it. Yes, they were manipulating. Yes, exactly. They are manipulating them. Yes, exactly. That is what we're talking about. Being in a position of power is manipulation.
Against their will, though.
Again, stop saying against their will. You just said that yes, they are consenting to it by manipulating them. So it's not against their will. You are getting them to consent to it.
Okay, so you're saying if I see, let's say I'm an art teacher and I see a kid who's got an immense amount of talent, but he seems like he's not interested in art or his parents discourage him, and I groom him in a sense of encouraging him to, and try to like really get him to come to art club and all this stuff, and I seek him out because I really want him to do well, and I'm manipulating him, right? But I actually see that he's got this incredible talent. Okay, if that's a sin, then crucify me, Tom.
This is not working on me.
Look,
I don't know. I know you think that this is going to not work on me. You can keep trying this bullcrap. This is not working on me. You can keep downplaying it and using other examples that are totally unrelated to what it is we're talking about and try to convince me of that so that it convinces me of the other thing. It's not happening. It is not going to happen, Ben.
Just make one more point, then I'll go.
Feel free to keep trying. That's fine. I'm just telling you, it's not going to happen, bro.
Tom, I have groomed you. I came in, remember I said, you'd be a great moderator. And then we have a debate tomorrow on this fucking channel that I've manipulated you and Milo.
Stop saying manipulated. That is not manipulating. It is not necessarily manipulating.
I worked you, Tom. I worked you. I worked you. You didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do it. I fucking worked you, Tom. I worked you.
You did not. I told you the entire time that I'm happy to moderate debates on other people's channels. If other people want to set it up, I'm happy to do it, and I do it all the time.
No, because you first said I don't want to be a moderator. I don't want to do my own channel. Okay,
no, I did not. I said no. I said that I don't want to set up debates. I don't want to be a moderator guy who's setting up debates all the time. I said that I moderate debates on other channels all the time. I said
but I manipulated you into having a debate tomorrow night on this channel. That's a very innovative debate.
Too. Sure.
Whatever, Tom. I didn't manipulate you. You came up with it your own. You were perfectly free. Daddy didn't pop your
convinced me of it. Sure. You convinced me to do this thing. I'm happy to say you convinced me of it. The word manipulate has a negative connotation.
You can't really manipulate an adult. You're an adult. You're free.
You can manipulate people.
Fine, Tom. If you're incapable of giving consent
of power over them, you can definitely manipulate an adult.
Okay, yeah, and I fucking manipulated you for your own good because I saw something in you. That's sorry, buddy.
Whatever, dude. That is not manipulation.
Yeah.
It's not manipulation. It is not the same thing.
It's sexual assault, Tom. You've been violated by me, okay? You're a victim, and you can cry. If it doesn't work out, you can say it's all Ben Thorp's fault, like everyone else does. I worked it. I worked you, Tom. And yeah, maybe Milo won't show up. Maybe he will. I put it out there. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't show up, and maybe I was like hoping for the best. I don't know. And you could say, well, that guy's a kind of a manipulative guy. He hypes shit, and he doesn't necessarily have it all lined up. That's true. I don't not have it lined up, but, that guy's not going to commit to anything with fucking Ben Thorp.
Sure.
But when I kill on the first debate, on modern day debates, and I wipe the floor with that motherfucker Stephen Bonnell II, who treated me like shit today, then Milo will come on.
Did he though? I don't think he did. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't treat you like shit. You are right that the air was weird.
Fucking sucked.
But he doesn't owe you anything.
Like, he doesn't. I know. No, I know. But I had to at a certain point go like, Jesus, Steven, just ask me if I put my dick in my daughter. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Good God. There's like 20,000 people watching me have to like listen to this. Like, so how did you feel when he looked at your, I'm just sitting there, you know, I mean, I'm getting totally cucked by this.
Well, that's not what he's trying to find out. What he was digging for is how manipulative you are, how invasive you are, how much you're prying into other people's lives.
I get it.
Especially you digging into people's personal lives and not giving them the ability to have their own private life is a way for somebody to manipulate people and a way for them to hold them captive.
It's a tricky interview to have where you're basically asking, have you sexually molested your daughter? It's a tricky interview.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's asking. I think he's trying to find out how manipulative you are and how abusive you are. But I don't think you are zoning in on one specific type of manipulation and abuse that you're assuming he's zoning in on. And I don't think that's what he was doing. I think that he was trying to figure out if the mother's abused, if Grace is abused, if the kids are abused. I think that that's what he was looking for.
It was an awkward interview because I know that the video he watched and the video you started to watch make me look like an arch villain. And it's tough to interview an arch villain and treat them like a human being. So I'd prefer it if someone just came at me like super hard than to do this kind of like, okay, you're a human being, but I'm supposed to hate you, but like whatever. So that's why I tore him apart about his like open marriage bullshit and his view on abortion, which is that you can kill another human being when it's inconvenient. And it sucked. Sure. And then I told him the whole fucking show sucked. And at least I have the integrity of saying, I didn't come in here to suck your dick, Steven. And it's, I'm an older man, okay, right? I leave with my dignity. He can say whatever. I cancel on the debate, and I hate this guy. But, you can't do this thing for too long where like, my daughter's there. See, I actually do have a normal fatherly response. You can do that with Grace all day, but if I'm sitting there going like, okay, what? I'm going to call it and say, like, this sucks.
Okay.
Tom, I got to meet my chick.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. I really do appreciate it.
Yes,
See you tomorrow.
Later.
Worst case.
Worst case scenario is some sort of, like, ongoing sexual abuse or something, sexual plus physical abuse.
Yeah, I've got perms.
I don't think that's happening, but, I mean, I can't really know that. I think the most likely worst case is just everything I've said so far. He's just like a really manipulative, abusive person. He keeps her close for a variety of reasons. He probably or two, for like to build his career as well, right? Like if he is genuinely trying to do something on YouTube, using his daughter as essentially a honeypot, which is I think what he did to me. And he probably does it to other people as well. It's probably like a good tactic for him, right?
Yeah, actually true. Yeah, I could see that as well. Interesting. I think you... do you think you'll ever talk to him again? Because I think it might happen. I mean, if you're down for it, I think he'll always be down to talk to you. No matter like the fucking outburst that he had, I don't believe it.
The audience is too big. I think people were saying they were talking about canceling the debate tomorrow. I don't think so. The only way he would ever consider that is if I think he felt like his daughter was starting to believe me more than him, or if there was any inkling of that. If that was the case, I think that he would try to separate us as much as possible, so he wouldn't go through that debate. But I think that the allure of my audience, especially when they've been kind of like trying to desperately get a lot of eyes on their stuff for a long time, I think that's too alluring for them to turn away from, for him to turn away from, because he's all.
I just talked to him. He's not going to cancel the debate.
Okay, I didn't think so.
So the conversation that I just had with him, it's like pretty obvious grooming to me. There's videos of him like on stream with her and another guy. He's like encouraging her to put on sexier clothes. He's encouraging her to dance provocatively for this guy. He's admitting to doing this so that he can get clout, so that he can get bigger and gain views off of it. He's like keeps, every time I try to ask him about it, he keeps like downplaying it, like, oh, we're not allowed to have conversations about the birds and the bees. Like, I'm not allowed to think I have a beautiful daughter. And so I have to keep like bringing him back to like the conversation about grooming, and yeah, like overall, it seems fairly obvious from all of the all of the stuff that he's admitting to.
Yeah. So the things here, sorry, fuck, this is interesting. So one of the lines of questionings that I wanted to push them down, the challenging things here, one was, do you feel like you constantly have to cover for your father? And then the second question that I really wanted her to explore is, do you feel like you are uncomfortable and need to reframe those emotions often? The reason why I wanted to ask this second question is because a guess that I would have had for her was there's a lot of times where you're really uncomfortable with the relationship you have with your father, but with his encouragement, you end up reframing a lot of things to either make it your fault or make you understand that even though you feel bad about it, you shouldn't feel bad about it. This is a question that I wanted to ask, and it seems like that's exactly what's playing out here in these chat logs. Damn it, I'm fucking things up with my dad. He said that we could maybe relax and watch some vids about the Steven Crowder situation and get to know the whole story more. But I do this thing where I pretend I'm afraid of him and I start choking on my words and stuff and acting skittish. It comes in waves, always worst in the mornings, even though this morning wasn't even that bad. I don't actively choose to pretend to be afraid of him, but I'm saying to myself the whole time I'm acting afraid, just calm down, just relax. This is a pattern from my mom. Remember, externalizing all the bad feelings onto the mom is a really important pattern for these two, right? He's your friend. He wants you to succeed, which is fucking true. I know it. She might quote unquote know it, but she doesn't feel that way. But whatever. I'm not sure what it means that sometimes I just can't relax. Maybe it's a bad habit that'll go away. I can't believe that it means I have to talk to my mother, but that's what I always come back to because she taught me to be afraid of him. Remember, externalizing the negative feelings or blame onto the mom always. I just get in a place mentally. My guess is going to be, I don't have her in here right now to ask, oh, this would have been another good challenging question, is when you guys have difficulties between the two of you, is it oftentimes framed as the mom is the cause of the problem? So for instance, they're fighting, she feels a different type of way about something, and he's saying, listen, you're wrong. Does he ever say, listen, the only reason you feel this way is because your mom told you this thing about me, because your mom is making you feel that way, because your mom's thoughts are still in your head, right? I bet that comes up a lot in their fights. That'd be my guess. And I see it come up here.
On top of that, he seems to have this like stuff to hold over her head. So her boyfriend was in my chat earlier saying that he like sends her tens of thousands of dollars, that like he pushed her to break up with him recently because he kept saying that the dad was abusive. The brother was in my chat earlier apparently saying that he that they would like dip off to hotels for long periods of time. The brother tells stories, I think you might have seen this, where he's like got a broken leg and they would like pretend to bring him food, but like literally like hold it at arm's length until he did X, Y, and Z for them. Or they supposedly like they said that they were going to call the cops on him when he punched the dad. And so they like tried to get him to agree to a list of things before they decided whether or not to call the cops. So like there's always this power game where they're trying to get people to do things with different with all sorts of different objects or different dynamics.
Yeah, probably, yeah. That's not surprising. None of that is surprising.
I mean, literally after you talked to Grace the other day, I had her on the show right after because the way that she talks about Hillary sounds exactly like her dynamic with her mom. Like the way that she talks about just leaving is abusive. She says that her mom is abusive just because she left as well.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all. Yeah. I think I need to manage myself better. I think God is working mystical ways in my life. Why can't I just relax and do that? I just get in a place mentally where I can't calm down, and then I just keep getting more and more agitated. And even when I try to calm down, it just makes me more agitated that I'm not calm. Something to keep in mind is if you're ever around somebody where you feel like you're constantly on edge, or there's for some reason you just always feel uncomfortable, but it always comes back to being your fault, or you feel like, okay, this is why it's my fault, there's a really good chance that you're around a very manipulative person. Very, very, very hard to understand that, but there are some situations, guys, I don't know how to convince you of this because it's really hard. If you're around somebody that's really good at being manipulative, you will never be able to intellectualize your way out of it because they're probably really good at setting you up in ways where you can never fight back intellectually. But as humans, we generally have a pretty good feel for when people are abusive or manipulative. We can feel it out a lot. If you find that you're fighting your gut, or if you want to be romantic, if you find that you're fighting your heart with your head constantly, chances are somebody is mind fucking you. And it's good to remove yourself from that situation. The only thing that can help you see when a situation like that is abusive is by putting time and space between it. So if you leave an area for 2 weeks and all of a sudden you find out, wow, all of the anxiety that I have seems to be gone. I seem to feel much happier on a day-to-day basis. I don't feel like I've got somebody breathing down my neck, or I've got somebody critiquing me all the time, or that I need to be on edge or defensive. If you're feeling those types of feelings when you put some space between you and somebody that might be an issue, then sometimes you can start looking back on those things and go, oh, maybe that behavior isn't normal. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have to feel constantly defensive. Oh, maybe it's not like my fault every time they have a problem, right? But that's a really, really, really difficult thing to do, and you'll never be able to do it intellectually. Like, you have to like rely on your gut a little bit for stuff like that. But yeah, that's a hard one, guys.
What was your conversation with Grace like?
Just her. I don't even know. Fuck, I'm fucking tired. I can't even summarize it. It's 3:50 a.m. The people keep saying to talk to the brother. Yeah, I could, but I mean, at this point, I have a lot of puzzle pieces. I have a feeling that if I were to talk to the brother, I feel like he would agree with every single thing I'm saying. I think that he probably feels like he actually probably views Grace less favorably than I do. He probably thinks she's more evil or manipulative. He probably thinks that her and her dad are working together constantly to attack him and the rest of the family, or him and his mom. That'd be my guess. He probably doesn't like the mom very much either. But he probably feels like Grace is being super manipulated by the dad. That'd be my guess. If the brother wants to come on and chat at some point, or if the mom wants to come on, they could. But yeah, I'd be surprised if he said anything different than that. But yeah. Oof, holy shit, I'm tired.
Great take, Dr. Phil. Great take.
Yeah, true.
Let's go on. I bet they love this. I'm not gonna lie. Grace and her father, they fucking love this. Okay, boys.
They'll love it. Yeah, they'll love it so long as the dad doesn't feel like he's ever losing his daughter to anything.
Mhm.
But oftentimes, the thing that makes it so nice when you're a manipulator, the more control you have over somebody, is the more adversity that other person faces, the more likely they're going to look to you for comfort, right? Because anytime somebody tries to break up an unhealthy dynamic or point out that there's an abusive situation going on, he can always label that external person as a threat or as an abuser. And then he can say like, look, this guy's trying to break us up. These people are jealous of what we have. He doesn't understand our dynamic. This guy's like your mom. These people don't understand, blah, blah, blah. And they can actually like build a closer relationship doing it. So,
well, she's a tough cookie too, because I had a long conversation with her about this a couple of days ago, and she's like very similar to him, where it's like she's putting on an act. Like you can see her switch almost like she's switching characters from one moment to the next, where all of a sudden she's like smiling at you and trying to be like very flirtatious with you, and she plays the same like Mott and Bailey game where she's trying to convince you of some like very random thing that has nothing to do with what you're actually talking about, but pretends as though it relates somehow. She is just so I can't tell if she's like so brainwashed or if she's actually like completely in on it.
I think there's two things happening with people like this. One is there is probably a significant amount of cognitive dissonance that's being introduced to her life constantly when she has these conversations, because there's a lot of claims being made by people that, one, she probably thinks I'm decently intelligent. I'm not a total fucking retard. And two, just the sheer amount of outside people that are probably saying things like, hey, this looks uncomfortable, this looks abusive, you're probably not happy, blah, blah, blah. You have to resolve that cognitive dissonance, right? That people can't live with dissonance in their heads, right? And part of the ways that she probably tries to do this is when it sounds like she's convincing you of random things, they're probably things in her own life. And she desperately has to have those things in place. Otherwise, like her entire life will fall apart. Like if she's the one that's like arguing on some esoteric topic about how something is or isn't abuse, it's probably because it's something that her dad does to her pretty frequently, and it can't be abuse, because if it is, her entire life collapses, right? Remember, her dad is probably one of the sole sources of validation or good psychological feelings that she gets. And if she realizes that that was fake or tries to undermine it, like her whole world collapses, you know?
Yeah, she kept the other day she was talking to her a boyfriend at the time, where she keeps telling him that he needs to learn how to put her in check, that she gets out of control sometimes, and he needs to learn how to control her, and he needs to, you know, have a better strong hand and all sorts of stuff like that. And then the dad eventually pushed him out, and he says that it's because he's like holding tens of thousands of dollars over her head, but I don't know.
Sure. Okay. I'm gonna do this real quick. I don't know how much time I have patience I have. So, okay, Scribble, what's going on real quick? Give us your 2 cents.
Oh, right. Hi. Let me mute the stream
for 2 seconds. We can do this later if you're tired, because you do look fucking exhausted.
Well, just give me your 2 cents. Go for it.
All right. From what I can tell, this is not really about views or money. It's mostly a sort of like public masturbation thing that's going on with the dad, where he's engaged in a long act of self-desecration, and the fact that he has a beautiful daughter that he can publicly pimp out to predators or weird men online is something he gets off on. The views and the money are secondary. And because that's how she's been taught to value herself, she is playing into that more and more as time goes on. Now, if she engages with you over a long period, there's a good chance that you'll probably end up trying, converting her mind a little bit. But the thing is, the father will be watching for it. And at that point, two things can happen. Either he thinks that he can successfully honeypot you using her
I love you,
into,
Tom.
continuing this weird public fetish he's got going on. Or if he thinks you might have a chance of taking her away from him, he's going to do something drastic. I think there's maybe like a 1% chance that he'll go as extreme as killing her. 1% chance.
Okay.
1% chance is about 10,000 times higher than it should be.
Wait, Destiny, don't reply. Mods, ban everybody that said Apu stalking. Ban everybody that said not Raj again. These niggas are fucking fucked up, okay? You niggas call me gorilla and monkey, but I will not stand for racism against my wonderful Indian brothers. You're the number one tier 5. I love you too. Listen, but my love for you is kind of waiting since you're also being called the number one tier 5 guy. Like, are you the king of the tier 5s?
That's for Steven to decide.
I think there might be some truth to what you're saying. It's not enough information. The dad does seem to want some level of publicity, though. I don't think it's just about pimping his daughter up, because he tries to make his YouTube channel work. He tries to do debates. He tries to have like a YouTube presence. It doesn't look like he's just trying to pimp out the daughter.
But all of that is instrumental. The thing that he's engaged in primarily is an extended act of self-desecration. It's like essentially what cuckolds do, but instead of doing it in private, he's doing it in public. And
maybe
what I'm worried about is that, say, okay, here's where I'm personally worried about a little. I don't know if I want to say this. I don't know if you want me to say this public. It might be you might want to remain this private.
No, say it, please.
He's
no,
gonna say
say
his
it,
worries
please.
that I'm gonna knock her up, and now I'm gonna be baby trapped by
Nice one. Say it. Say it. Go ahead.
If you somehow successfully manage to convert Grace away from him, he's going to take it personally. He's going to come after you, and when he realizes he can't attack you or hurt you directly, he's going to come after the ones you love. There's two people that become targets.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Who? Dan and the sponsors? Is that the two
Nathan
people?
And is probably thinking, but okay, I'll keep all this in mind. All right.
When I'm saying, finally, when this happens, it won't be planned, it won't be smart, it'll be dumb, and it'll be opportunistic.
What are you? How could you possibly be awake right now? What are you doing in here, Muda?
So yeah.
I just woke up, bro.
Bro, I'm on the darker side of YouTube's like lore shit right now. Okay, I don't know why you would even join this at this degen fuck hour.
I don't know what are you talking about? I'm not in the stream right now.
We're in trailer trash drama.
It's just I can't even give you like a short version of what's going on. I wish I could, but it's just like so. Have you ever heard of the? You haven't even heard of these people. I know you haven't, but have you ever heard of the Thorps?
Okay.
Thorps? What?
Thorp family. Okay, yeah.
Thorp family. Hold on, let me Google this.
I don't even think these people have many views. It's just like a.
Link him to 2-hour documentary. Let him watch it right now since he just woke up. That's a good TLDR.
Jesus, yeah, but
2-hour documentary, sure.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. and I'm fucking tired and dying, and this is I'm sorry. Whenever I talk about this, I can try to catch up with this, but
wait.
Shit,
I did want to ask: were you the one who briefly dragged me in yesterday for 5 seconds and kicked me out?
I don't remember.
Probably, by the way.
I was suddenly in the call for 5 seconds, and then I said, like, "Are you for real right now?" And then 5 seconds later, I was out. At any rate, I think that was probably for the best because I would have lost my shit at Grace, and then I don't think this conversation that you had with her this night would have happened.
Jesus.
Listen, honestly, I think Grace is correct. I think you guys are just overreacting. Okay.
Okay, talk about it. Go talk about it on Carantos' stream. Kick.tv.
Yeah, true. Kick.tv/Kratos. There you go.
Even is it ethical for me to talk to this, like, joke around, or is this like I don't even know what's going on, man? It seems pretty wild.
You bitch for connecting me with that Nina chick. I don't know why you're talking. Shut the fuck up.
Oh God.
You're just as crazy as her, bro. Did she report you to the cybersecurity team as well?
Bro, he's already passed
Darius, you literally connected me. You literally connected me with a chick that wants to fucking kill me.
Again, dude. You sound just like that kid.
No. This chick wants to report me to the FBI for shit that I didn't fucking do.